Hello everybody, it is I, the Great Clement, and man, I have been waiting a long time to play this game. I think I've been hyping up this one since I was halfway through the Sonic series, and that was a long time ago. But this is an obscure PlayStation 2 game published by Atlas, developed by IREM, and it really is something special. I love it a lot.
Get ready for
Steambot Chronicles!
Steambot Chronicles. Here we go. This is a game I'm guessing a lot of you have never heard of. Probably never seen any footage of it. You probably have no idea what this is. And you might fall in love with it like I did back in the day when I first discovered this, but
A relaxing, non-linear adventure. Steambot Chronicles.
what a good way to put it. It is a relaxing, non-linear adventure. I think the best way I could compare Steambot Chronicles to something I've played previously is that it feels like it's part of the Mega Man Legends series, like Legends 1, 2, and especially Trotmobile, because in Steambot Chronicles, you pilot a giant robot known as the Trotmobile, and you spend the entire game driving that thing around, like Tron did with the Gustav in that game. There's a lot of open world folksiness to it. It's very charming. It's got a fun anime aesthetic to it. And there's a lot of heart and a lot of love that went into this game that is really endearing, and I hope that you all enjoy it. This is going to be one of the slower playthroughs that I've done for the channel. This is going to be a long one. It'll probably be going on for the next 2 or 3 months because it's a big game. But Steambot Chronicles means a lot to me. It's a fantastic game. I've been wanting to play this with you guys for a long, long time. And hopefully you enjoy it.
Hey, Captain! Look what I found! These punks was hiding in the cargo deck. What should we do? How about we throw them into the sea?
Trying to ride for free, huh? Then I assume that you're willing to accept the consequences. Huh, is that so? All right, I'm going to teach you how to pilot a Trotmobile. If you prove useful, then you'll be the SS Juniper Berry's newest crew members. If not, at least the fish will get a decent meal. Miguel, prepare the Trotmobile.
But Captain... aye, ma'am.
Okay, so pay attention right now because the kid in the tie is handing a necklace to the blonde kid, and we don't know who these two are. We don't know their identities right now, but it will become very relevant later as the plot progresses, okay? For now, we're going to jump into the tutorial, and when I was in the main menu, I actually didn't start a new game. This is not usually how the game starts up. I went specifically to the tutorial menu because the actual tutorial has its own exclusive scenario going on, you know? Through the tutorial, we actually get introduced to the characters and introduced to Captain Cibolette, and it sets up the story a lot better than if you were just jumping into the main game. I mean, the main game, you don't need to play the tutorial because of how the character is handling his memories and stuff, so it's technically skippable, but I would be doing this game a disservice if I were to skip out on the tutorial. Not only for the story bits, but also to show you how this game is controlled, how this game is played, you know? Yeah, you play your harmonica, kid. I'm gonna be piloting the Trotmobile. Oh, yeah. So like I said, I would compare this game to the Mega Man Legends series. You're a kid walking around towns, helping people with their problems, and it's very RPG-like without the actual RPG elements, you know? And you spend the whole time piloting a Trotmobile, like Tron pilots the Gustav, and how this thing controls is kind of interesting and kind of unorthodox, but it makes the game more unique because of it. Because all of its movement is basically dependent on the control sticks. And we're going to see that right now. So whenever you want to go anywhere, you have to use both of the analog sticks. You know, if you want to move forward, you have to push up on both the left and right analog sticks. If you want to go backwards, you have to push down on both the left and right analog sticks. And this also applies to any direction. You can go diagonally, you can go to the side and strafe, you can go backwards diagonally, but you still have to move the sticks in the exact same direction in order to make this happen. So I guess you're wondering, well, what happens if I don't move both sticks, if I only move one of the sticks? Well, that's how you maneuver the Trotmobile and make it turn faster, you know? If you want to move left, if you want him to spin left, you hold up on the right analog stick, and if you want him to move right, you hold up on the left analog stick, but leave everything else. You know, you don't touch the other analog stick, and that's very unique. If you want to do a quick 180 turn, you push up on one direction, and you push down on the other direction. As you can imagine, maneuvering through the world and maneuvering past all the fields and all the obstacles, it's a little unwieldy and it's a little strange at first because it's like, well, I've never done this in a video game before. It's like I'm actually in construction. I'm actually at a construction site working some giant robot or something. I don't know. But I like it. I like it a lot. This machine can jump. It can also dash. And the great thing about the dash is that you can dash sideways, you can dash backwards, and you can dash in any direction that you want. And if you actually hold up on the analog sticks while dashing, you can ram into your enemies and bash them with a collision crash. And yeah, it's pretty good, pretty good. And yes, there are enemies. Of course there are enemies. It's a video game. Why wouldn't there be enemies? So now we're going to learn about attack and defense, and we're going to fight Captain Steambot here. Alright, put up your dukes, Captain. Put up your dukes. But first, you guard. In order to guard, you push inward the analog sticks, and then you take less damage than you normally would. So you gotta be very careful with that. Sometimes you're just expected to take a barrage of attacks, and the best thing you can do at that moment is just put your arms up, block it, and see if you can do anything to protect yourself. You can also get a whole bunch of attachments, like shield attachments, to even further reduce damage later as the game goes on. But believe me, there's so much about Trotmobiles we haven't even scratched the surface of yet with this first part. There is a lot of stuff that changes about this robot as the game goes on. And yeah, you use the L1, R1 buttons to punch things. L1 to punch with the left arm, R1 to punch with the right arm. And when you push in L3 or R3, you can pick up objects, not just your enemies, but like street lamps, giant boulders, trees. You know, you can uproot all these objects, pick them up, and use them as weapons in order to attack enemies. And again, I love the fact that just usually, especially if you're in the arena fights, you can pick up your opponent. You can pick up another Trotmobile, lift it over your head, and just chuck them at a wall, chuck them at the ground, and then beat on them when they're lying down. It's great. You feel like a wrestler or something. Lift them up, get over there, throw them. Dead. But it's not just melee, it's not just like bashing things with your arms. Oh no, you can actually attach guns and rocket launchers to your Trotmobile, and then you can shoot things. So here we have a target practice scenario. You can lock onto things with the square button. And I have to make sure none of these targets reach their destination. None of the targets reach the end of the track. And then I succeed the mission, I succeed the tutorial, but most targets don't move this slowly or this linearly. They aren't quite this one-track mind, you know? They do move around quite a bit, so you're more than likely going to miss shots, but, and hey, they'll be shooting at you too sometimes. When you fight other Trotmobiles, they will shoot at you, and that's when your dash comes in handy, because you can dash out of the way and avoid obstacles like that, and, yeah, it's great. It's freaking great. Freaking great. This tutorial's not too bad as long as you just lock on and dash as quickly as you can to get across the room, you know. It just gotta last for another 12, 11, 10 seconds. I am the Trot Commander. I am the master of the Trot. By the way, this game is called Steambot Chronicles in North America and Europe, but in Japan, this series is actually called Bumpy Trot. Bumpy Trot, so in case you were ever wondering about that. Very well, defeat me and you can board the ship. Give me all you've got. So here we are, the final test, the end of the tutorial. We have to take everything we've learned and we have to take her on in a fight, kick her ass, and yeah. My best tip for most Trotmobile fights, especially when you have very limited weaponry, pick them up. Pick them up and throw them at a wall, because when you throw them, it take a while getting back up. And while they're getting up, you can just wail on them and wail on them and wail on them. And this usually works for almost every Trotmobile type enemy. There's going to be a lot of gigantic enemies throughout the game that you can't pick up. But when it comes to just a single Trotmobile that's in your way, pick it up, wail on it when it's down, and you'll get a lot of health shaved off that quickly. Sybilette, you thought I was a trainee, but in fact, I am the master. I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing.
Not bad. Very well. Here, take this. Listen up, mates. These two are the newest members of our little family. Oh! Now we've wasted enough time. Prepare to set sail.
Oh!
Still, Captain, why? I never thought you let those kids on board.
A long time ago, I stowed away on a ship like they did.
Huh? You too, Captain?
Exactly. They're no different than any of us. They're young, but I'm sure they'll come in handy at some point.
Alrighty, so that's a pretty good setup. Now we're jumping into a new game proper, and as the game boots up, we actually get a whole bunch of questions that determine our personality a little bit. You find some money on the ground, what do? Take it to the lost and found, pocket the cash, pretend you didn't see it, or donate it to charity. Look, I gotta be honest. If I saw money lying on the street, it's mine. I'm pocketing it. Of course I am. When getting dressed, which article is most crucial to your style? Shoes, hat, gloves, or glasses? Hey, I'm a Sonic the Hedgehog fan. It's gotta be the shoes. What's your favorite time of day? I love the night. I love taking strolls at night. It's so peaceful. It's so calming. It's the best. So personally, I'm going to say night. Your significant other is crying. What do? Quietly hold them close, try to make them laugh, change the subject, or cry along with them. I don't usually just burst into tears at the sight of other people crying, so I'd probably hold them close. So yeah, let's see how that goes.
Vanilla. That kinda sounds like my name. Yeah, that makes sense. Something happened on deck. I know this is supposed to be important. But the waves, the sound, it's drowning everything out. Ugh, too bright.
Oh, are you awake? Are you okay?
This game has a lot of multiple choice options that change the story up a bit, so I'll try and show what I can later.
Feel like I'm gonna die.
Well, what should I do? Thank goodness you're all right.
Where am I?
This is Seagull Beach. You were lying on the sand unconscious.
Seagull Beach?
Why don't you rest for a minute? I'll be gathering herbs, okay?
Pretty Girl says, I was kind of worried. You didn't wake up right away. This is where I usually come to gather herbs. So I should mention that I'm playing this on an authentic PlayStation 2. This is not an emulator. And the game usually runs at 30 frames per second, but sometimes it slows down a little bit because there's a lot going on in this game, especially when you get to like the towns and stuff. Holy moly, the towns are populated with like cars and people walking around. And I can imagine that it was pretty graphically intensive for what was a 2005 PlayStation 2 game that eventually came to North America in 2006. And, you got to appreciate the effort that went into this game, the attention to detail, the world building they came up with. So yeah, it doesn't run the smoothest. It runs a little bit slowly sometimes, but hey, I can deal with that. Holy shit!
What am I supposed to do now? That was the only way out. I'm gonna miss the bus.
What bus?
I have to take the bus to get back home. But now I don't think I can make it back in time.
Let's figure out another way.
You're going to help me? Thank you so much. I wonder what made that boulder fall in the first place. Any ideas?
Let's see how much you were paying attention.
I saw a blue thing. Up on that cliff. I saw a blue thing up on that cliff. It fired a missile.
So, a blue thing on the cliff fired a missile?
That's right. I could have said something way stupider than that, but I chose to be honest. With this playthrough, again, you can choose everything that the character says, and that means I can be a good, friendly guy, or I could be an absolute dickbag, an absolute piece of shit. And with this playthrough in particular, I'm going to be mostly a good guy. I'm not going to be bland and boring. I'm going to try and pick some funny dialogue options here and there, but I'm mostly sticking to what a good person would do, what I would do in this situation, what I, the great Clement, would actually say. And it just should be mentioned that in Steambot Chronicles, you can be an absolute bastard. An absolute bastard.
Do you want to go inside?
Yeah, I thought we might find something in there.
It's possible. There should be a hole over here. Ah, there it is.
It hasn't changed at all. Of course, I don't know why anyone would want to go in there. So what's the deal with the shack? It used to belong to a fisherman. It's been vacant for quite a while now, though. Alrighty. You've been here before? I used to come here a lot when I was a kid. My friends and I liked playing around in the shack. Cool. I think later I will be posting a whole bunch of alternate voice clips, a whole bunch of alternate dialogue clips to show you dickbag mode, to show you what it's like when you're a complete bastard. But for now, I'm just going to be focusing on this regular old playthrough, you know. I want to be a good guy, a good fella, a good friend, you know. Going into first-person view, we can see a picture, and it's a little hard to see with the old retro graphics, but it kind of looks like she's there with two other people in the picture. So, you know. She used to play around in the shack, but a picture of her is in the shack? I don't know, something up with that. Something up with that, that's for sure. There's lots of treasure chests around, and you can find tons of stuff in it, including costume pieces, because this is not the only costume that your character can wear. You can buy and find a whole bunch of different clothing options to completely customize how your character looks. So, I found some gloves. Boom! I just slipped them on. Now my character is wearing gloves, and I can take them off whenever I want as well. I don't have to wear the gloves once I put them on, so, yeah. It's an oar. Thank you. Thanks for pointing that out. Thank you very much. She's gazing out into the ocean. She looks a little upset. Well, I just picked up the picture.
This is a picture of you, isn't it?
That's... You brought it with you? I used to play in there when I was a kid, and a lot of things happened.
Bad memories, huh?
Yeah, you could say that.
So what happened?
I don't know why it zooms in there.
Would you mind if we change the subject?
Let's find a way out of here then.
Good idea.
Let's find a way out of here. Alrighty. Would you believe that the way out is with a Trotmobile? Damn right. We didn't do that tutorial for nothing. It's some old machine.
Looks like this Trotmobile is still ticking. I don't suppose you know how to drive one of these things.
Well, I did pretty kick-ass in the tutorial.
Of course I do.
Really? I guess I'm a lucky girl. Why are you reading the manual if you already know how to drive it?
You never know, lady. There might be something different about it in the manual. Who knows? But either way, folks, this is our Trotmobile. We're going to be driving this for the whole entire game. Looks pretty crappy right now, but, we'll pimp it out. We'll pimp it out, and it'll look awesome.
It looks like the ship was called the Juniper Berry, but it's a mess. I wonder what happened to the people on board. Is that how you got here?
I played the tutorial, so yes.
I think so?
Don't you remember?
No.
Maybe if you look inside, it'll jog your memory. I don't think this Trotmobile can get us there. Let's head back to the beach.
Yeah.
But I want to go there now. That fine vessel was the SS Juniper Berry until it was shipwrecked. Anyway, you can't travel through deep water without additional equipment. That's right, the Trotmobiles can actually go into the water, but you need to have the proper parts, the proper equipment in order to do so. So, again, we're going to be upgrading this thing as the game goes on. It is not just going to be this default punching machine. Who knows, we might get more than just rocket launchers. Like, I don't know, maybe a flamethrower. Also, I wanted to demonstrate here that you can actually pick up two objects at a time. Like, I picked up the one pole with L3, I picked up the other pole with R3, and you can dual wield two sticks and beat on other robots with two sticks, and it's freaking awesome. It's so fun playing Steambot Chronicles. I love the Trotmobile. I love just... Look at this! I'm gonna pick up this giant boulder. Ugh! This gigantic boulder that I probably have no business lifting. And now I'm gonna throw it back into the sea. Ugh! Hell yeah. This is the power of the Trotmobile. Enemies beware. All right, but we're leaving the beach, and now we're heading to the Egret Brook, an area located downstream from the Eagle Mountains, known for its potatoes and watermelons. The potatoes are especially valuable to desert travelers because they preserve well. They also fill your hunger meter very nicely. And yes, this game has a hunger meter. There's a lot of stuff going on in Steambot Chronicles that we haven't even scratched the surface of this game, believe you me.
What a dumb Trotmobile!
Excuse me, sir. Did the bus leave already?
Yes, just a minute ago.
Well, shoot.
Any luck?
It's already gone. Would you mind doing me a favor? Could you maybe take me home in that Trotmobile?
Sure, hop in.
Thanks.
Before we move on, though, I'm going to check out the rest of this farm. I'm going to talk to all the people, look for some valuables, explore every nook and cranny like a proper RPG, you know. And, yeah, I'm not going to lie, Steambot Chronicles does have a little bit of a slow start, a little bit of a slow beginning. I don't think things are going to start picking up until the end of Part 2 / the beginning of Part 3, so hopefully you guys bear with me because, this is a slower, more chill kind of game than I'm used to playing. This is a more relaxed kind of game that I usually tackle, but the payoff is totally worth it, and Steambot Chronicles itself is totally worth it. I love this game to death, and it's a little different from my usual playthroughs, a little different from my usual content, but and this thing really grabbed me. I remember the first time I ever heard about Steambot Chronicles, it was through the G4 TV show X-Play. Oh, and by the way, just picked up a cowboy hat. You can wear the cowboy hat, so of course I'm going to wear the cowboy hat. Why not? But I remember I first discovered this game through the G4 show X-Play, and just from the footage they showed, they gave it like a 3 out of 5. They gave it kind of a middle-of-the-road score. So it wasn't like gangbusters, it wasn't like the greatest game they ever played or anything. But I just remember being so caught by the art style and the various tasks that you do in the game and the interesting narrative and stuff that like I knew I had to play this game one day. And when I eventually did play this game, it was just like, oh, love it, love it. Steambot Chronicles is one of those underrated gems that I wish there were more entries for. I wish this game had lots of sequels that kept going on into 2021. But alas, that was not the case. This is a pretty obscure game, and they were working on a sequel, but unfortunately, Japan got hit by a natural disaster when they were making the second one, and then they lost all of that. They lost all of that work they had done for Steambot Chronicles 2, and they never started it up again. And, damn shame if I do say so myself, but I love this game. It's fantastic. The only thing I think Steambot Chronicles suffers from is it has a kind of a poor conclusion with the narrative. The narrative kind of peters out a little bit near the end, and you're going to find the ending disappointing too, but I think the journey to the ending is so damn good that you can kind of forgive how rushed everything feels near the very end. The majority of the adventure is super fun, and again, we've barely scratched the surface. There's so much you do in this game, from being a musician, to deliveries, to arena combat. There's just so much going on in Steambot Chronicles, and it's just, I can't wait to show you guys. I'm gonna steal a potato! Don't be stealing my taters, you! If we come back late at night, we can actually steal the potatoes, but because it's daytime, we can't steal a potato right now. Again, potatoes are really good for health. They're really good for maintaining a character's stamina. So, I like the characters actually comment on the clothing options. She actually commented on the cowboy hat, so that's fun. That's fun. And, yeah, it's good stuff. Good stuff. There are bandits beyond the tunnels. I got scared and turned back. Of course this game has bandits. We need something to fight after all.
Oh, almost forgot.
Huh?
I found this next to you on the beach. It's yours, isn't it? We haven't really introduced ourselves, have we? I'm Coriander, but you can call me Connie. Everyone else does. You're Vanilla, right?
How do you know my name?
How'd you know?
What? It was on the harmonica, so I just...
It's engraved here on the harmonica. That must be how she knew. For a minute there, I thought she might be psychic. I see.
At any rate, it's nice to meet you, Vanilla.
You have a very bland name, but I think we'll get along just fine. So yeah, folks, that's the first part of Steambot Chronicles. It's going to pick up later, trust me. I love this game to death. It's so special. It's so unique. And if you've never seen this before, hope you enjoy it. Hope you enjoy the rest of this thing. I'll see you in part 2.